sometimes there's a whole lot of dumb, want a whole lot of dumb down, in one place. You get double your dipshittery, and you can always count on Roseanne to bring that to you. Roseanne uh, has Tucker Carlson on her show. The hatred of truth is the hallmark of darkness, with Tucker Carlson. Now, I guess, is that the new name of her show? Or is that what he said and they said it together in harmony? Who can say? Here we go. You're watching House Marks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. This is remember, Tucker Carlson was supposed to take over the fucking airwaves with his show on Shitter, and that was the end of legacy media. Fox, dead. MSNBC, dead. CNN, dead. And now he's on Roseanne's podcast promoting his shit. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. Who can say? Whoops. And this is so weird, too.
It's not political and it's theological. Is it within the realm of possibility that this movement that we're fighting now is actually satanic?
What do you mean?
Oh, for fuck's sake! Is it Satan, or is it just an itch? Because I always wonder. That's my test in life. It's always one or the other. Is it Satan, or is it a rash? That's basically like whenever I'm, you know what I mean? Am I feeling bad because I've done awful in the world, or do I just have itchy?
Realm of possibility.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because there's no other explanation.
No, it's the definition.
Or it's
of it.
infiltration to destroy.
Of course, because it's not, look,
or both.
What's not satanic is like the Sicilian mafia.
Right.
They pimp out women, they loan shark, they sell heroin, but they do.
Yeah, but they do it for human reasons.
Because they want to get a bigger house in Far Rockaway. I get it.
It's money.
It's
makes
money.
sense.
It's totally.
Yeah.
It's a commercial transaction. It hurts people. It's bad. It's illegal, but it's explicable.
Right.
Right, but then the devil part, in theory, would be the part that leads you to get the house in Far Rockaway by exploiting people, as opposed to using your keen analytical mind for actual business, unless you're just, because that would be the difference between being addicted to sinful, awful, violent, terrible, victimizing behavior or whatever.
Understand that.
Yes.
No, nobody understands that. You're full of shit. That's just and again, by the way, this is him justifying Trump's shitty behavior because he has to go, Trump's just shitty because he just likes stuff. You know what I mean? That's not the devil at work. I'd have to tell you that Trump is actually the Satan-worshiping, grotesque beast that he seems to behave like, if I believe that for a second. So I've got to make this special mafia exception to evil.
What we're seeing now is not explicable. Mm-hmm. It's not. Why would he?
Yes, that yellow walls. Who does that?
Billionaire. You have $1 billion. You can't.
Who does a podcast in a piss-painted room? I don't get it. With light blue, foam blue furniture? God, it's nauseating. And you're going to tell me that mirror on the wall, or that symbol or whatever it is, has shells around the outside? We're going to just pretend that this kind of like pseudo-Floridian architecture and design finding its way to Hawaii isn't an abomination of Satan himself?
Can't spend it all.
Right.
It's much deeper than that.
Right.
And why would you hate things that are true that don't affect you?
Right.
Why would you hate things that are true that don't affect you? Like what? You mean like racial stereotypes, or is that where you're going?
Can't stand to hear something that's just objectively true.
Which means
that you mean like this. None of these people have ever laid eyes on either the Hunter Biden laptop or even the physical hard drive copies from anywhere else, nor have they gone through them and checked the metadata around them, not once. And quite frankly, I would argue all three of them have only seen printouts that Rudy Giuliani has held up. I would go there. Even her son, who's a fucking conspiratorial lunatic. Yeah, just mean like that?
What is that?
You're evil.
The hatred of truth is the hallmark of darkness.
Yeah.
The hatred of truth is the hallmark of darkness.
So, I've been thinking about this for a very long time. The amount of, I hate truth. That's what it is. But you know what I hate more than truth? Consequences.
Yes, it
Obviously.
is
agree.
absolutely. Well, because the only because
Again, that's just like some variant of truth dies in darkness or some shit. He's like reworking the like the New York or the is it Washington Post?
I think it's I think it's a very dark system that was
Yeah, it's a system. It's got to be a system because it couldn't be as simple as just a beast.
Yes.
created over I don't know how many centuries.
Probably 666 centuries.
But
How many centuries? The reason she doesn't know how many centuries is because she means Rothschilds.
I think it goes back to really dark times, and it's
Yeah. Like there was an age. What is it? When was that? There was an age that was sort of like that, and I'll think of it later. I don't know. Something about rats and plague or something.
never disappeared. It's like they've been
And this is where Tucker furrows his brow and tries to look interested instead of going, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
building and building for a really long
Well,
time.
you do see, I was thinking about this yesterday. I flew from Europe yesterday, so of course I had like 10 hours to read, which is usually bad. But I was thinking yesterday that there are certain periods in history where people become, I was thinking about the Spanish Civil War because I was flying from Spain, but I was also thinking about the French Revolution.
Because I was flying over France.
I was thinking
and I was eating brie in first class. And
about the destruction of the temple in 70 AD in Jerusalem.
because I was like, I should go to Israel sometime. And then I was like, fuck that. And then because the person across from me was Jewish, and I was like, ew.
Two temples.
Yeah, 2 temples, but that was the last one that was destroyed by the
Yeah, the first one really, they got a mulligan on that one.
Romans during the revolt. And there are these weird explosions of irrational hatred, rage, violence, where no one's actually
Yeah, like Fox News, you
winning.
mean? Or
Like they're killing for the
the five. That's what I think about when the five. When I see the five, that's what I think of.
sake of
For
killing.
the sake of killing.
Yes, and you see these throughout history, and like, what is that?
Yeah.
No one's actually benefiting from this. Killing people, making them suffer, humiliating them, torturing them, burning things down that you could steal, but you burn them anyway.
Yeah.
You saw this in our cities a
Yeah.
couple
Yes,
of
we
years
did.
ago. Like,
No, you didn't.
what is that?
Terror.
But it's not rational. Like a terror.
Right. You know what's not rational is your interpretation of those things. Okay, somebody from another religion and another way of being seeing someone else's temple that we now think of as ruins or are a symbol of like great architecture that they destroyed. The reason they destroyed it was because it ain't them, and they plan on putting them there. They are going to take over this area, and there can't be any remnants of the society of the other people, because the last time they left remnants of the other society there, the people around there went, hey, where'd that statue come from? Where's that building from? Oh, well, we built that before these motherfuckers showed up. Oh, well, we should probably kill them and take our shit back. That's why. That's why periods in history where they level entire areas where they could leave stuff standing, because the people who built it will get pissed and go, that's fucking mine. And that, I would argue, is something you could actually tie together with what's happening now. You know? Hey, Mark, what's happening? What's going on?
Terrorist, like ETA, the Basque separatist group, like they kill policemen so they could get a little closer to their goal, which was separating from Spain.
Makes
I
sense.
get it. It makes sense.
Right.
It totally makes sense. It didn't work, and it was stupid, but it's a dumb plan, but it's a plan. Kind of like January 6th.
But murdering people just to murder them, burning their stuff when you could steal it.
Again, that's not at all, and that's his mind. That's this dumb motherfucker. Burning their stuff when you could steal it. Okay, first of all, they ate it and shit it out and raped every woman that was there in most of these cases that he's referring to in ancient history. And they didn't take stuff back because there were no trains. There were no fucking, even the boats were hellish, and they filled them with fucking people. The only thing they left on there were provisions and the shit they would need to get out and kill other people when they got there, because it was the Dark Ages. Jesus Christ. if you could steal it. This motherfucker thinks every chariot had a fucking trunk.
That's, again, a spiritual phenomenon.
Yes.
Well, to go on TikTok, it's like the Andy Warhol thing, 15 seconds of fame. I'm sure he said 15 minutes, but for the 15 seconds of TikTok
Yeah, it's so much better. You're right. It's basically the same thing, but yet it's different.
fame, that's what they're doing it for, a lot of them.
Yes, but
No one is burning down entire societies for TikTok fame, dum-dum.
they're like seized by some spirit of destructiveness.
Well,
Like,
it's a demon spirit.
that's it.
It is a demon. It is probably a demon. So I would say then they are innocent and you should pray for them. And that anyone who castigates those human beings because they are possessed might as well, I guess you would have handled Linda Blair in The Exorcist by pissing on her. That would be the plan. You'd go vomit on her and yeah. I could keep going, but I grossed myself out.
And
what
that's
demonic, absolutely.
always been here. It's
Yeah.
and it emerges, and we lie to ourselves and imagine we've got it totally under control.
Yeah.
Everything can be explained rationally. That's why I hate this whole. They're in it for the money.
Yeah, no,
If
they're
you
not.
think that's all it's about, you're going to miss what's
You're gonna
actually
miss
happening.
what it's really
Well,
about.
you both got
Jesus Christ. They can't be in it for the money. I have all the money I need and I'm still an asshole. If they're just in it, that, by the way, I'm not kidding. That is actually Tucker Carlson's thought form. He was born with a fucking silver spoon up his ass, and he's been rich his whole life. He's never had a day in his life where he's had to worry about rent, food, health insurance, any of that shit. Ever, not once, never will. That's that. So, of course, this motherfucker thinks that when people, when you look at a bigger schemes, like they wouldn't do it just for the money. This has got to be an evil thing because I don't need money and I'm still doing terrible shit. I have terrible thoughts because I was raised terribly and I'm kind of a terrible person. So of course.
fired when you had the #1 television shows. You guys were both racking money in. Well, I'm just bringing it up now.
No, they weren't. Roseanne had just cost them a bunch of viewers and they knew the show would sink because of what she typed because she made a fucking ape joke about a black woman. And then Tucker cost the fucking network $787 million.
Because it's obviously not about the money. Because if it's about the money, both of you'd still have your job.
Well, that's a good point.
No. Both of those situations, it was about the money. Both of those situations, Roseanne and Tucker both cost their networks more money than they were fucking worth.
Yeah, that's what gets me.
They
'cause
don't like what you were saying.
No, they don't like losing money. As a matter of fact, if you could keep saying shit and you could be controversial, they would keep you on in spite of themselves.
On what you were doing, and it's something that said we had to take them off. Fuck it. Fuck our stockholders. We're going to do it anyway. That's weird.
Well, I overheard in my writer's
No, because the stockholders lost money because of the Dominion deal, of which Tucker was a huge part.
room, one of the writers who was, in the
In the writer's room?
Democrat thing.
Oh, shit. Well, I didn't know he was. One of your writers was in the Democrat thing?
Well, they all were, but
Which one was it?
Yeah. I mean, why was that? I guess they're funnier. I guess you just hired the funniest people you could find, and they just all turned out to be Democrats. You couldn't find a Republican that could write punchlines and wasn't a fucking sourpuss?
Not.
she said, I'm just afraid this show is humanizing Trump voters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Humanizing human beings. Wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, think
People
about
can't
that.
hear themselves.
No,
What do you mean, people? Motherfucker, you're talking about, she's absolutely, and by the way, I don't buy the quote at all. This sounds like a Sir story, but if we just take her at face value, we're not talking about people. We're not talking about the average person. We're talking about a writer Roseanne hired for her show. Roseanne had a say in all those fucking people. It's her fucking show. She was an executive producer. She was the star. She signed off on fucking everybody. And the people she brought in, allegedly one of them said that. So let's be abundantly clear. The people that Roseanne apparently thinks are funny enough to write her half funny lines are one of them said that. Maybe. If she's even remembering it right. in her 15 seconds of TikTok.
They
I would
can't-
never even think that about Biden voters. I think they're human beings. I think,
Well, that's because we act like it. You know, we're better house guests.
Of course they are.
and I know some of them, and not a ton at this point, but I do know still some. And they're
I
human
have
beings.
all in my family, it's like, that's why I wanted to do the
Mhm.
show I did, to show a Hillary hater and a Trump hater in
That's
the
right.
same family.
That's right.
And they still loved each other because I knew this terrible division they were pushing.
I
And then they
get that.
blamed Trump for
I
him.
know.
It's like the rape victim, and they humiliate her. Was That's why I said they treat Trump like a woman.
I know.
Wow. I know, he says. They treat Trump like a woman. Well, count your blessings, because at least we don't treat Trump like Trump would treat a woman. Good Lord.
In the
honor
press
killing.
because it's a rape victim that they harass, set up, frame, and then refuse to he doesn't even get a jury in that Letitia James trial.
I know.
So that's like,
What do you mean I know? No, you don't. It's a business trial. It's a civil trial. Even get a jury. They didn't check the box, asshat. They could have had a jury for part of it if they wanted. They said no. He's going to get a jury on all the criminal trials, all the shit where they could possibly take away his time. That motherfucker's going to get a jury. As a matter of fact, he's going to get 2. That's right. He already got 1. That's right. I keep giving the finger today. It's just that kind of day. He got a grand jury. How you like that?
it's a witch burning. It's not,
It's fucking... It's a witch... It's gone from a witch hunt and a hoax to a witch burning.
he says witch hunt, but it's a witch burning.
It is different. Because once you... I mean, what do you do with... once the hunt is over, what do you do with the witch? Clearly. Throw her in the pond!
And, he's not allowed, he's under gag order to say this is bullshit, which everybody knows it is. There's not even
He's under gag order to say this is bullshit. Okay, first of all, no, he isn't. You were at an actual rally where he said it was bullshit. He just can't attack by name the people who work at the court.
it's not even a law case. It's lawfare gone mad,
course.
which the whole
Of course. Yeah, I know. Yes. I'm just saying yes because I'm in a room with lunatics. And I'm worried that if I disagree with you, he'll hold me down and you'll barbecue me.
whole Democrat Party is just lawfare gone mad.
That's what it is. That's basically what we're doing. The nice thing though is during our lawfare gone mad thing, we've managed to pass an infrastructure bill, which is something he never fucking managed to do. It's weird. It's like it's almost like we could walk and fuck up Trump at the same time.
Lawyers that
Whatever
can't
it
get a
takes.
job anywhere else but for corporations, and it gets me.
What? Wait, what? Lawyers that can't get a job anywhere else but
The
where?
whole Democrat Party is just lawfare gone mad. Lawyers that
Whatever
can't
it
get a
takes.
job anywhere else but for corporations, and it gets me because there's nothing less democratic than a corporation.
Right.
What? And here's the stupid. Okay, this is Roseanne, and this is gibberish, and I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. I think she means government. I think what she means is they can't get a job anywhere but the government, and there's nothing more, less democratic than this government or some shit. Maybe. But the fact that Tucker is saying right as if he actually understood what the fuck she's talking about.
For God's sake.
I have
I know, bro.
noticed that.
I have noticed that.
Yeah.
I would never work for one again. I'll tell you that.
No, I
ever
would never.
under any
ever.
circumstances.
No,
He's never going to work for a corporation ever again. Right, because you're a fucking trust fund baby. And by the way, she'll take a show though.
I'd rather be
rather-
on the street.
I'd rather be poor. Yeah,
I'd rather be on the
I've
street.
been poor. It's not preferable.
Bullshit. This motherfucker has never been poor. Okay, a little inside baseball. I once worked with an actor who viewed himself as a bit of a beat poet, an edgy artiste type. And when he got a series, he rented a little place that was like a downstairs like he had money, real money on this show. And he could have bought a giant house someplace. And he rented a little downstairs apartment thing and put all this like shitty furniture in there, and then got an old 60s fridge. And so if you squinted, it looked like Charles Bukowski's outhouse. And he was living in this place because he was just living the down home kind of there. Okay. And he was like, I'm connected to the, to the reality that people are like, no, you're not. You know why? Because it has nothing to do with the environment you're in. It's the fact that you can leave any time you want. That's the difference. Wherever you are, whatever situation you're in, the thing that makes you rich or poor a lot of times in that situation is your options. And in this particular case, he could have fucking, if the building burned down, everybody else there would be in a homeless shelter, and he'd be staying at the Waldorf Astoria in an upstairs apartment for the next 3 years till they rebuilt the place and he could move back into the fucking basement. And the same thing with this asshole. He's never been fucking poor.
But better than working for those people.
Those people at Fox. Well, I don't know. I mean, yes, everyone who runs Fox is a shitty, shitty human being. And I don't know how to, I guess, take your word for it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. 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 Right, guys? Yeah.
It's something, isn't it?
Well, it's just,
It is something.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah. This is great. Isn't it funny how we all just sit around agreeing? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You felt, remember I sent you that video when you got
Yeah, he
got
remembers.
fired about, it was you and it was a guy with your head, but he was tap dancing and he was getting thrown out and then he starts flying. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you feel
do
like
remember.
you're flying?
I do remember. Did you? Oh, and then that's where she's supposed to go. Wait, I didn't send that to you. I sent that to Sean Hannity, and then you. I guess maybe he showed it to you. Yeah, I do remember seeing it. I remember seeing it.
Well, I was not surprised. I mean, of course I was surprised. I didn't.
Yeah, I was not surprised at how. I was surprised at how not surprised I was. You know what I mean?
Expect to get, my show canceled Monday morning, but I wasn't, if I took 3 steps back, I was not surprised at all.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised if I hadn't been there when the surprise happened. You know how like when people jump out at a party, they go surprise, and if you're in the living room, it's like, oh God, that's just it. But if you're still at the bus station and they all jump out and they go surprise, and you're about 3 blocks away, then I wouldn't have been. I wasn't surprised really, because when I showed up, there was just people hanging out and there was confetti on the floor and half-eaten cake. So that was a surprise. That was. How do you tap dance? If not, why not? I do, poorly. It's one of the things that I've been wanting to take for a long time. Summer knows.
So, first of all, television's like that.
Mhm.
People get fired.
It is. It is a lot like that. Believe me, you don't have to tell her.
There are all kinds of lines that no one will explain explicitly. I'm a very literal person, so I would totally happy if, if I'm knowledge that I would always say, just write it down for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't say, can you just send me a text. I've got a bad memory.
That's what I say too.
Oh, I can't
Exactly.
be conservative.
Yeah, text me the N-word so I know not to say it. That's what I always do. When I when you roll into a place like, hey, text me a list of racial slurs and blood libels and Hitler phrases that translate very obviously into violent acts by large groups of people. Just send in the middle of the night when you think of one. Just text it to me. Just no context. Just send it over, and then okay.
On a conservative TV channel, just write that down for me, if you would, just so I can have it as a reference point. Oh, well, the lines. No, I really don't,
Yeah, he really doesn't.
because I'm kind of stupid. So
Well, there you have it. I guess we got to save that one, right, CSL, to go along with this one.
I agree. I'm a dope.
Yeah, we could put that in there, right?
oh, well, the lines. No, I really don't, because I'm kind of stupid. So if you could just, so I knew on a gut level, like I knew They were very nice to me, I should say that, and be clear about it. They were very nice to me the entire time I was there, but I could feel that they strongly disagreed in the war in Ukraine stuff.
Do you think that's what it was? I mean,
I don't know. I'm just speculating, but
One of
they
many.
really didn't like that at all. The January 6th stuff, they really
Oh,
didn't
they hated
like.
that.
I think
We had a
that
bunch of
was-
people quit over that, and mostly I would say mediocrity. You know, like
You don't think the whole like having your head writer that you hired and vetted and that was very close to you showing up on white supremacy websites like Stormfront, posting regularly about the weakness of other races, let's just say under a pseudonym on the regular, that didn't build to a head at any point. That didn't factor into their thinking. They don't really think that. Huh?
Chris Wallace should not be on television, or Jonah Goldberg, or so. You know what I mean? These are people who obviously the audience hated and shouldn't have been there in the first place. But they were so outraged because I said, you know, it seems like there are probably a lot of feds in the crowd
Oh,
on
yeah,
January
busloads.
6th. And now it turns out, of course, there were
There
like
were.
way more even than I imagined. The
Yeah.
whole thing.
No, there weren't. By the way, I guess he's using the colloquial of the term Fed, meaning any federal informant. Again, this is a myth that they just fling around with no backup whatsoever. It's super fucking weird. And again, still the root of that argument. What is it? That maggots are so dough-headed that all it took was some dudes dressed like them whispering to them or starting some shit to make them attack police.
Thing was a complete setup.
Yeah.
The whole thing was a lie, and it was used to put people in prison
No, there are easier ways to do that.
for expressing their constitutionally protected
One,
rights.
They're constitutionally. Wait, sorry. I haven't read the Constitution in a long time, but apparently you can beat a cop, climb in through a window of the Capitol, and take a shit in the dome and steal one of Nancy Pelosi's laptops and try to sell it to the Russians. That's a constitutionally protected right.
a three-time Purple Heart winner.
Oh, I know. Oh, and
They have no shame.
That's the out. They have no shame. Cut. Man, that's fucking magic. Oh, you see.